guys, so for today's video I am going to be doing this like pink hollow patch type of design. If you've seen my last couple videos, then you know I've been like trying to recreate some different like I guess like textures on nails to see like how it would translate on nails and if it was possible to do these like textures and designs and stuff on nails. So I did the metal one, and then I did like the marble glass kind of one, and now for today I'm doing this pink patch one. I just thought it looked really cool and it'd be something different for some nails. So to start off, I'm just taking the black from Ballpit and I'm painting all of the nails with this. I did do 2 coats of this and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. So for this design, when I was looking at the picture trying to figure out how I wanted to go about doing this design, I was thinking about doing this with a blooming gel, but when you look at the picture, like it's like chrome hollow. So I was like, that kind of isn't going, like the blooming gel isn't going to work very well for the chrome because the black base is just straight black. There's no chrome on it or anything. And then it's these like pink patches that are the chrome with the hollow and everything. So I'm like, chrome is just going to stick everywhere if I do it like that. Also, like the patches are specific shapes, and I feel like, you know, with blooming gel you can't really get specific shapes. It just the polish just kind of spreads out most of the time, pretty much almost always in like rounded kind of ovally or circular shapes, whereas when you look at this picture, the shapes of these patches are more like squares and like trapezoids and like sharper edged shapes, you know. So I did decide I was just going to hand paint everything instead of doing the blooming gel way. And I'm really happy that I chose to do that because like I said, with the chrome that I'm going to be using, like I feel like it'd be really difficult to go about it and make sure that the chrome doesn't get on the black, because then I would have to go around all the different little shapes with the matte top coat and then go around and top coat just the shapes for the chrome, and I think it was just going to be a little too difficult to do that. Not necessarily difficult, but like I guess tedious and time consuming, and I didn't want to do all that, so I felt like doing it this way was going to be a tad bit quicker. It still took a little bit of time because there is multiple layers and I was still having to like individually top coat each of the little patches later on, but I just think it was a little bit less work than if I were to have done the blooming gel method. Also, like I said, with the patches being like sharp edged shapes, I don't think it would have translated as well if I would have done the blooming gel. But I do think if you wanted more rounded shapes, like the blooming gel could work, or you can just, you know, paint on the rounded shapes, whatever. So after I get all of the nails painted, I'm going in with the anti-chrome matte top coat from Ballpit, and I'm applying this to all of the nails, trying to make sure that every single, or that the entire surface of every single nail is completely covered. That way I'm not getting any chrome sticking to the background anywhere on these nails. And then once I have that on, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. So after the matte top coat is cured, I take the Emo Black liner gel from Ballpit. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know this is what I always use whenever I'm doing an isolated chrome design. It just works really well with chrome, and I never have issues with the chrome sticking with this. Also, with the anti-chrome matte top coat, it works really well for not having the chrome stick to places where you don't want it to. So I do highly recommend these two products if you are trying to do like isolated chrome designs. They just work really well. But anyhow, I'm just going in now and painting all of the shapes and the different like patches. This did take a while because I was like having to strategically do the different shapes and make sure that they fit together well, kind of like a puzzle, but not like, you know, completely touching. So it did take a while to do this, and everything remained wet until I was ready to cure it for the chrome, because for this Emo Black liner gel you do only want to cure it for 15 seconds. Any less time than that, it's going to be too sticky and the chrome is going to be like that grainy kind of glittery finish instead of a smooth chrome finish, and any longer it's going to be too cured to where the chrome isn't going to stick very well and will just kind of rub right off of it. So I have found that 15 seconds is the perfect cure time for this gel in order for the chrome to stick properly and for you to get that smooth shiny chrome finish and not that grainy glittery chrome finish. So that's why all of these little like triangles and trapezoids and whatever other weird shapes that I did were completely uncured the entire time that I was painting one single nail. And then once I got the shapes on, I did go ahead and cure for 15 seconds before going in with the chrome. Also, as you can see on this nail here, there is a little bit of wrinkling there in the middle of it. Something didn't cure properly. I think it was the matte top coat, because there was no wrinkling when I did the black. So because it was too thick, or Because it didn't cure properly, that tells me that it was most likely too thick because it was fully inside of the lamp. Sometimes if you take a nail and stick it in the lamp and like take it back out and stick it back in, take it back out, like kind of like when you're flash curing almost, if you don't have it in there long enough, then like part of the polish will cure and then the other part won't, so it ends up doing this weird wrinkling effect. But it also wrinkles up if your layer is too thick because it can't fully and properly cure. So I think in this case the top coat did get a little too thick in that area. If this does happen, you do want to remove that and redo it. Like if you're doing someone else's nails or your nails, or even if you're just doing some press-ons like I am here, you do want to file that off and repaint everything, so that way you're not leaving uncured gel on the nails. However, I did not fix it, and I was not bothering to try and fix it because these nails were just for video purposes. I do put them on for a couple minutes so I can take like finishing shots at the end of the video, but they're not being worn for an extended period of time by anyone. So it kind of really didn't matter that that wrinkling was there and it has that uncured gel in there, because whenever I have this problem with any of my like press-ons that I do for videos, I will just take that nail and throw it out. That way I don't have any uncured product like sitting in, because I'll save like all these nails. I have a container where I have all of my all the nails that I've done in a container, and I don't want like, you know, the uncured gel leaching on to the other nails and like, you know, having uncured gel in this container with all these nails that I do go through sometimes, and look at them and try and get some ideas. Or if I'm like recreating one of my sets, I'll pull them out to look at them and see what I was doing there. So for this one nail here, once I was finished with it, I did go ahead and just throw it away, so I didn't have any of this uncured gel mixing and mingling in with the rest of them. But like I said, if you do end up with the wrinkling, you do want to fix it, especially if like you're doing press-ons to be worn for an extended period of time, or if you're doing your nails or someone else's nails, because as we know by now, uncured gel can lead to allergies. The more that you are in contact with uncured gel, the more likely you are going to end up with an acrylate allergy. So we want to try and avoid contact or getting these allergies as much as possible. So that's just my little warning there when it comes to seeing like the wrinkling and whatever. Okay, so after I cured that for 15 seconds, I just took this like light pink kind of rose colored chrome powder that I have and just rubbed that all over the nail. And as you can see, the chrome is not sticking to the black part of the nail. And then when I go and dust it off later, you'll see it really doesn't stick on there. It kind of looks a little almost like it might be sticking just because like the excess is still on there, but once it's all rubbed off, it doesn't stick at all to the black base. And then because I did only cure this liner gel for 15 seconds, it is only partially cured. So after I get the chrome on, I do stick it back in the lamp to cure for the full 60 seconds. That way it is fully cured and not partially cured, because like I said earlier, uncured gel, partially cured gel does end up leading to acrylate allergies, and nobody wants that. So if you are only partially curing any gel to get the chrome to stick on, so like if you're only curing it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you do want to make sure you stick it back in the lamp after you get the chrome on and do a full cure on it to make sure that it is getting fully cured and you're not having any uncured gel on your nails. It will cure through the chrome because chrome is transparent. It doesn't look like it when you put it on the nails because you do have a base underneath of it, but if you were to just put it on a clear nail, you will see that it is like you can see through it. It's not opaque, so it will cure through. You won't have any issues with that. It's not like if you were to take, a bunch of layers of black polish and like layer them on top of each other, all partially uncured, and then do one final cure at the end after you've done like 5 layers of black polish. That bottom layer isn't going to fully cure because the light can't penetrate through all of those layers. So you can easily cure again after putting the chrome on, and everything will cure underneath of it. And then I just went through and did that same process for the rest of the nails. I painted on the different shapes, cured that for 15 seconds, rubbed the chrome on, and then went ahead and cured that for a full 60 seconds afterwards. I didn't show me doing all of the nails because this did take a while to paint each individual little shape on each nail. I did, on the pinky one, I did do the shapes kind of on the smaller side, and then with the rest of the nails, they were a little bit larger just because I realized that doing them smaller, it took way longer, and if I did them larger, even though I had less patches on the nail, it did take me a lot less time to do them compared to when I was doing them smaller. Also, I feel like the larger size shapes that I was doing looked a little bit better than the smaller sized shapes. But if you want to do the smaller, do it smaller, you can do it smaller. If you want to do it even bigger than what I did, then you can do it even bigger than what I did. It's really up to personal preference on that. And like I said earlier, this is going to have Holo on it, and I did have the picture of like the reference picture up earlier too, and you could see that it was like this light pink Holo look to it. I do have like a pink Holo chrome powder that I thought about using, but the pink in that one was not the shade of pink that I was wanting. I wanted a lighter pink shade, and the pink hollow chrome that I have is more of like a magenta-y fuchsia kind of color. And I didn't want that. This color here that I'm using isn't like this rosy pink chrome isn't really the color that I wanted either, but it better matched what I wanted to do and like the shade of pink that I wanted, or like the type of pink that I wanted, more so than the magenta fuchsia chrome that I had. So I did go with this one instead, and I do layer on a holo chrome on top of it, which you will see in a little bit. But yeah, if you just have like a pink holo, a holo pink holo, whatever, chrome powder, then you could use that instead and not have to do like multiple layers of chrome. That would be a lot easier, a lot quicker. But if you don't have like, you know, the pink holo chrome powder, then you might have to do some layering. Also, it doesn't even have to be pink. Like, you could do blue or green or gold or silver holo, like whatever, you know, kind of color you want to do. But also, that being said, if you do have like, let's say a blue chrome powder but you don't have a holo blue chrome powder, you can do it the way that I'm doing it in this video and get a holo blue. So I'm just saying, it would be a little bit easier and a little bit quicker if you were just doing one layer of chrome instead of 2 layers of chrome. But you know, sometimes you gotta do, you know, a harder way of doing something because of, or something that takes a little more time. It's not necessarily harder, it just takes a little bit more time. Sometimes you gotta do what's going to take more time because you don't necessarily have the right products, or like, not necessarily the right products, but like the products that are going to make it so you're not having to do a whole bunch of different layers, or, you know, all these extra steps to get to, you know, the finished result, if that makes any sense. I hope that made sense. So after I got all the shapes painted on the nails and all the pink chrome painted on the nails, I'm just going in with my liner brush and the VARNAIL 2-in-1 chrome top coat, and I am just top coating the little patches that I did, trying really hard to make sure I'm not getting it on any of the black base of the nail, because I do not want this hollow powder to get on the black and then have a hollow black background, because that is not how the background looks in this reference picture. The hollow is just on these pink patches, so I'm very carefully going around and top coating all these little patches. Again, this took a long time. It was very tedious because I had to individually top coat each one. I had to make sure I wasn't getting it on the black base. Yeah, this was just kind of a time consuming set that I did. That's why I said if you have a hollow, like a colored hollow chrome powder, so like a pink hollow, blue hollow, green hollow, whatever, it'd be a lot quicker and easier. You could just, after you get that applied, you could just top coat it. But if you don't, then you do have to do this, take this extra step here. So after I got all of these top coated, I did cure for 30 seconds, because for the VARNAIL 2-in-1 chrome top coat, to use it with chrome, you do only cure it for 30 seconds. If you are using it as a top coat, you cure it for 60 seconds. So I did only cure for 30 seconds. And then that little container that you can see there on the side of the screen is a clear chrome, like a clear hollow chrome powder. I got it from AliExpress, I think. It was either AliExpress or Temu. I'm pretty sure it was AliExpress. It's in one of my nail haul videos forever ago. I'll try to find it again and link it down below. Hopefully it's still available wherever I got it from, because you know, sometimes if you buy from like AliExpress and Temu or Shein or whatever, even Amazon, sometimes stuff goes out of stock and then like it never comes back and you can never find it again. So hopefully I can find this again, because it is really cool. Like I said, it is a clear hollow chrome powder, so instead of it being like a silver chrome like you or a silver hollow like you typically get, also like, you know, you can get gold chrome, pink chrome, whatever, it's just clear. It is very subtle, and like you can see it in person and under like flash, and like in the sunlight and stuff, but it is a very subtle hollow. It's not going to be like super bright in your face like if you were to have a silver hollow. I used this before in my fishing lure video, and I did do 2 layers of it, which did make it pop a little more. On this set, however, I did only do 1 layer of it because, like I said, this was already taking a while to do. It was very time consuming to go through and individually top coat all of these, so I wasn't about to do a second layer of it, although I did think about it, but I ultimately decided not to because I wasn't about to go through and top coat these for a second time. So when you do apply it, you can see it does look white, and kind of leaves this like white cast on the nail, but when you top coat it, it does clear up, and the pink is going to show through a lot more. But you can kind of see here already like the hollow on it and how it is more subtle and not like super in your face, which isn't really what I wanted. I did want something more in your face and less subtle, but you know, that's just how this product is and how it shows up on the nails. Um, like I said, if you do a second coat, it does show up a little more and is a little more brighter and a little more, hollow and in your face. But yeah, wasn't doing a second coat. So I just go through and do that same process on all of these nails. And again, because I did only partially cure the top coat to get the chrome to stick, I did stick the nails back in the lamp for the full 60 to make sure that it was fully cured after getting the chrome on. Now I'm taking my Jinbi Crazy Top in standard. This top coat does come in a thin, standard, and thick version. I have the standard version, and I'm just going through and top coating all of the nails with this. I do like to use this whenever I do isolated chrome designs because I can use a separate brush that I can clean out really well, make sure there's no chrome powder in the brush. Also, if any chrome powder does get into the jar, it does all just sink to the bottom. And then I'm not having, bottles of top coat being contaminated with chrome, because if you've ever done chrome before, then chrome can get everywhere and it will end up contaminating your top coats, and then you have a glittery top coat when you don't want a glittery top coat. So I've been liking using this whenever I do isolated chrome designs. That way I'm not, or even just any chrome design, that way I'm not contaminating all of my other top coats. But anyhow, as you can see, as I'm top coating the nails, those patches do clear up a lot and the pink shows through a lot more, because like I said, this chrome powder does go on very like powdery and cloudy, which does look kind of questionable, and you're like, oh my gosh, did I just ruin the nails? But no, once you top coat them, it does clear up and you can really see that color underneath. It doesn't affect it at all. It also doesn't have, like, you know how when you have those like mermaid or like unicorn chrome powders, as they call them, and it's like the blue one specifically has like that yellow shift to it. This doesn't have a yellow shift to it, and I've noticed it's only the blue one that has the yellow shift, whereas like if you have a green one or a pink one or a red one or whatever, like those don't have that yellow shift to it. It's just the blue ones, and that really annoys me. I feel like it annoys everyone, because if you put a clear blue chrome powder on top of like a white nail or a light colored nail, you, especially a white nail, you see that yellow shift on there, and it like makes the nails look yellow, and it's just so annoying. I'm like, if they can get all the other colors to not have that ugly yellow shift on there, why can't they do that for the blue too? Like, that annoys me so much. But anyhow, after top coating, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds, and this is the finished result. I think this set looks really cool. I do really like it. It's something different. I think this would be really cool as like an accent nail, or like the background for some other type of art. I mean, it does look cool on its own. I just feel like it would kind of be really cool as like a background aspect and not like the focal point. But I do think they look really cool, and I really like the subtleness of the holo. I thought I wasn't going to like how subtle it was, but I did like end up really liking how subtle it was, and you can really see it here in the sun. It really shines through, and like seeing it shift at all the different angles is super cool as well. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.